Endless multiverse, endless multiverse, endless multiverse, episode 26. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Endless Multiverse, episode number 26, with your co host,
26.
26, your co host,
26.
Chainsaw Reacts, and Andy. We have a few different things to talk about. Our four topics tonight is going to be the Wednesday trailer, the unfortunate departure of Jonathan Kent. Jordan, how do you pronounce his last name?
Elsass, I think.
Elsass.
Also, by the way, for everyone, so you know, I got a little sick today, so that's why I'm not on camera because I don't like when I get sick. Everyone probably knows that you don't look so great. Like your skin gets a little red, you look flustered and so on. And also, I bought this more because I had a really bad episode of that. I'm just like I had to cover up all my mirrors again. So, but next week I will be fresh and back, hopefully, unless David Zaslav poisons me.
Unless he shows up at your house and you get axed. You gotta be careful. But we have Wednesday trailer, the departure of Jordan from being Jonathan Kent, Superman and Lois, She-Hulk episode 1, and then finishing off with some rumors about a certain little film that I have no idea what's going on with that. But yeah, it's been, I think, kind of a hectic week. There's been a lot of stuff going on in regards to news, and it seems like it's going to continue to pick up because a lot of shows are going to start up in the next couple of weeks. We have House of the Dragon on Sunday. She-Hulk has already started. Then we have The Lord of the Rings. And then, of course, Stargirl. Like, there's a ton of stuff. And then Andor. There's so many things happening. So it's going to be a busy number of weeks and probably a busy number of months in terms of news. And that's just the shows that are starting up. We're not even covering casting or anything else that's going to be coming. So this is probably going to be the slowest week we have for a while. It's probably going to start picking up next week. That's probably my guess. Are we ready to dive in, sir? To get
Let's
into
do it.
Mayhem. Constantine, take it away.
All right then. On with the show.
We are starting with a little trailer that dropped after some images came out, and this is one of the images here. The Wednesday show coming to Netflix. This is the cast here. Of course, this is not everybody in the show, but this is, of course, the Addams family. They dropped their first, I would say, real official look at the show, because we had a little while ago, I think it was around January, February, March, we had, I think her name's Jenna Ortega, who portrays Wednesday. They had like a little trailer or something where she kind of walked out from the darkness and she reveals herself. So we get our first look at her. But now this trailer that dropped this week was the first real look at the show. And I have to say, I like the hell out of the trailer. I really like the trailer. I like the aesthetic of it. I like that it's focusing on Wednesday. And I'm kind of hoping, and this is kind of like my one little fear, is that it's going to sideline the other Addams family characters in terms of the family, because she's going to be going to this new school. She gets expelled through the trailer. We learned that through the trailer. She goes to this new school with Gwendolyn Christie. I didn't even know she was even cast in this show. And I guess she's like running the school. I think she's the principal of this new school. So there's a lot of interesting things to look forward to, I think, in this show. And I think overall, it looks very interesting. It really does. It kind of reminds me of older Addams Family films, and of course the classic series that started it all in terms of people knowing the Addams Family. But I thought it was a good trailer. Did you see the trailer, Andy?
I did not. This was my first, this week. It was my first week at college. So I've been all over the place. I know that I will be completely honest. I've never really been that. I never really followed the Addams Family franchise. I mean, you would see it here and there and so on. Because they had their, they had their funny looks with her and so on. But I will say that I do know Jenna Ortega. Like, she is an amazing actress who is just, I mean, she's just, getting into one franchise after one franchise, like, because of course, for people who may remember her from Jane the Virgin, she played the young Jane. But then, she's been in Scream. She was in, she voiced for the Jurassic World series. She has done, what else? I mean, I've just seen her everywhere. She's coming back, of course, for the next Scream movie, and she's just. I mean, she was on You in season 2, and so like she's been.
My wife said that. Yeah, she's like, I remember her from You, because I sent her the trailer. She's like, yeah, she's from You. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, she played Ellie, the cocky but very passionate Ellie. But but I haven't seen it. But I'm excited for people who are excited for the show. I'm sure she's gonna do a phenomenal job. Like, I feel like, again, like she worked her way up. She started on Jane the Virgin. Now she's just everywhere kicking ass.
Yeah,
And
people have been pointing out how she's been doing a lot of projects, and I feel like this show is probably going to get multiple seasons just based off of the recognizable IP. I think people are going to tune in. But yeah, I mean, it definitely has the promise of being interesting.
well, you were worried about that the rest of the family may not be incorporated. So, I mean, I'm sure they
Yeah.
will, but like I think I mean, based on what people have been describing and so on, like from the little I've seen, it sounds like this is her show. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
and I'm fine with that. My worry is that they're gonna pop up like in the first episode and not appear for quite a while until something happens in later on. Because I don't know how many episodes we're getting. I just hope that they're not kind of like pushed out completely. I kind of hope there's something else going on that they're kind of a part of when she goes. Because I'm assuming when she goes to school that she's gonna be staying there. I don't know. I guess we'll have to just wait and see. But I mean, they might have said 8 episodes. I think Tim Burton directed 4, so he directed half the show.
okay.
So,
Well, you know, but you know what's so cool about it is that the show was created by the creator of Smallville. So
oh,
you know,
really?
yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, so I think everyone is in good hand that they will, you know, because I mean, it's basically because of them that we even have the Arrowverse, because like Smallville went on for 10 years, and you know, back when we didn't have a lot of you know, we had one comic book show, and then you know we had Heroes, but then you know Heroes lost its spark very quickly. So, but yeah, no, it's fun. No, I know that the original Wednesday, Christina Ricci, he's coming back. So I don't know who she will be
Yeah, that's the thing.
playing.
So I was expecting as I'm watching the trailer that we were going to see her like pop up in the trailer, and they hit her. I thought maybe she was going to pop up at the end, like a little bit of like a little tease or something to kind of show her, but no, they completely hid her away. So I think that whatever her role is, it's going to be important. And they also did say that she's not playing an older Wednesday. Like if there's like some sort of time jump or something happening in like Wednesday's future, I think they discounted that she's not playing Wednesday again, like older, you know. So we'll see. I mean, there's many possibilities what they could do with her character. I'm assuming since they're keeping it hush hush, it has to be significant to the story. I'm thinking because like they wouldn't. I mean, they could I guess make a big fuss about her coming back to be a part of
Yeah,
the franchise. But if she's only appearing like for like one scene or something as a little cameo,
no, I don't. I doubt it would be one. See, I think if
I hope
anything, it
not.
would likely be like an episode or something like that.
Yeah,
Like because I remember like when Deadline announced that, they said like, it will be a major part, but like it's like, you know, major part could still be just a recurring guest star or whatever and so on.
yeah.
But I'm sure.
I just hope that she's in it. You know.
Yeah, but I'm sure like, you know, like it would be very weird if she only has like a couple scenes like per episode or something like that. I mean, I don't know, for all we know, she might be playing like a teacher that Wednesday connects to at that school, or you know, like kind of, you know, an important teacher or something, or maybe she is. I mean, because I don't know anything about the lore, I don't know if you know, they have villains or whatever, but like, you know, maybe she, you know, she's like a rival to
That'd be interesting.
Wednesday. Although it
Yeah.
will, because the one thing I was completely like fearing was that, oh no, what, you know, what if they do this whole thing of like somehow, because everyone's not doing the multiverse, like she's gonna somehow like emerge as like, you know, a grown up Wednesday from another universe, be like they're just I don't even know how to describe their characters together, but they would just be together.
That'd be hilarious. I actually was thinking that as a joke, but then the fact you said it. We do have 2 super chats from It's Scout About. Thank you so much. What about Harley Quinn? And have either of you watched Sandman? I've not seen the Sandman, and I am not caught up on Harley Quinn. I'm still back on season 1.
I am we on Flashback is me and my other co-host Lazy. We haven't, you know, we never watched when the show premiered. So our 2 other co-hosts been like doing commentaries with us to kind of get into the, you know, the shows. So we watched like the first 4 episodes or something. But however, I have watched all of Sandman because I had the screeners for them, and I did the mistake of watching all 10 screeners in the middle of the night, which, you know, don't watch the show in the middle of the night because it will get freaky. Because if I scream, then my neighbor will be like, and we've talked about this, you can't scream out loud about TV shows in the middle of the night. I'm like, but it was actually scary. But yeah, no, everyone go watch the Sandman. They dropped you know, a bonus
This
episode.
episode, yeah.
So I look for, and I'm sure that show will be renewed sooner rather than later.
Oh yeah, I mean, because Neil Gaiman was asked today on Twitter about it, and he said that Netflix waits usually about a month, but not all shows wait a month to get renewed. Sometimes they'll renew like something after a weekend.
Fair about it.
Yeah, but I think in this instance, they already kind of know Sandman is a massive hit. It's like I think one of the most popular shows of all time, like in streaming hours and viewing. So
Yeah, wasn't it like 129 million hours, something like that, or whatever like that? I mean, it was like insane
yeah,
numbers.
it was like a saying, like they were like comparing it to other streaming service shows and saying that it's beating out a lot of other shows. So I mean, that's really good. So I mean, I think that they have a season 2. They just can't announce it yet. I feel like they're going to wait a little bit, especially with this bonus episode. That's just going to help drive viewership because I bet if people watch that, they'll probably want to rewatch it again. And so
Yeah, and that will solidify them just being, let's just go for it now, or something like that. Or maybe they're still like finalizing things because they'd be like, well, when because these are like some very talented actors, like when can they all be back together? When can we actually start filming? So like, how much time do you need to write the episode? How many episodes are going to be? But no, I'm happy that. I'm happy that Sandman is doing well. People are enjoying it. So I can't wait for you to watch because I think you actually really, really enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll get around. There's other stuff I got to get to as well on Netflix alone. So it's really ridiculous. Also, Scott About says she was also in X. She's becoming a scream queen. I think I heard about this X movie. I'm not really sure, but
is it just called X?
I think it's just called X, but I think it's like a horror movie that came out this year. But yeah, that's what I've been hearing is that she's been doing a lot. Like she was in Scream and everything. So like, hey, more power to her.
Yeah, and she's only 19 years old.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
But
let's dive into some DC news.
Yeah. So thankfully, nothing else has been canceled. All the movies and TV shows that we still know are happening are still happening. But however, Superman and Lois is going to look significantly different next season. It was announced on Tuesday night that Jordan Elsass, I'm hoping I'm saying his name correctly, has exited the series as Jordan. And this announcement here comes from Warner Bros. TV. Jordan Elsass has notified the studio that he will not be returning to Superman and Lois for season 3 due to personal reasons. The role of Jonathan Kent will be recast. Now, as we know, season 3 is starting filming in early September, so they're already going on, and I think trying to tap the next actor to play this role. But this threw off everyone in a lot of ways, and like of course social media has had their various responses, but I guess I will let you talk because I know you probably more sad about this than I am because I know you really, really liked Jonathan. So what? Now that it's been a couple of days? Oh, whoops, sorry. Now it's been a couple of days. What are you thinking?
Well, it's like I have a lot of thoughts about it. I think the first and foremost thing is that I was quite surprised that it happened. A friend of mine sent me discussing films tweet saying, "Hey, is this real? Like, did you see this?" And I'm like, "What?" And I thought at first it was a fake account because there's a lot of fake discussing film accounts trying to reach people. So that's what I thought it was. And then I saw that I think it was like TV Line or some other place ran the same thing. I'm like, oh. And then everywhere else started to post about it. And so there's a lot of responses from people online pointing to him on his Instagram talking about his mental health. And I looked that night and then to Wednesday morning and I couldn't find this post. Then all of a sudden I saw the post pop up like Thursday or something. And it was a post from back in July or something, or June, when he had posted about him going to a facility to kind of work on himself. I don't know why the post wasn't popping up at first. I don't know what happened if he privated it or
you can private post. So I think that's what he did.
I was unaware of that. So when it popped up, I at first I thought he was responding to the news. I'm like, oh, he posted about this, but then it was just him making it public again. So I guess that was his response essentially because this happened after the news So I think what he's trying to say is that he was not prepared to go back and that there was they're not going to push back production for him, unfortunately. So it sounds like in his own way of privating it at first and then making it public after the news, it kind of tells me that he was not mentally or anything. And that's the thing. You got to think about your mental health at the end of the day. And if he truly was going through some stuff, because that when you read through his words on that post, you see that he's noticing that he needs to help himself. He needs to do something. So that's good versus going the route of not doing that, and it could get worse and something could happen to himself or others. So him working on himself, I think that was a smart decision. It's unfortunate that he had to lose his job, or at least, this contract and everything and working on the show. But, and here's the thing, there's people online talking about there's other possibilities of what happened. We don't know. And unless Warner Brothers or he comes out and says something, which Warner Brothers will not say anything, if he comes out and says what happened, then we'll learn at least his side of the story if something else occurred. But at the end of the day, regardless of the situation, unless we learn more information, we're getting a new Jonathan Kent. And some people are commenting, recasting happens all the time. Like, yeah, but that doesn't mean it's still not weird. It's going to be jarring to see someone else playing the character because we're used to seeing him. I mean, we saw him in, of course, since the pilot where they were doing flashbacks with the characters, and we've seen a lot of him in this show. And so it's going to be jarring seeing a new character. And I think what Andy was theorizing in terms of how they could approach this is that maybe Jonathan's not in the first couple episodes of the show, and then we slowly ease into a new Jonathan, or they could just outright just throw it in and just go for it. Whatever decision they make, they of course have to make a decision relatively soon. They may have already casted Jonathan. We just won't hear about it until maybe they start shooting or something. I don't know. But it's going to be interesting regardless. So, yeah.
So I've been trying to debate how to talk about this for a couple of days now. And I think I'm going to be the one that comes out as the cynical one. Because, it's very important, and this is I'm teaching all of you guys this about to try and take this into account because yes, naturally your instinct would be that when someone is dealing comes out and talks about mental health or whatever and so on, that it comes from a genuine place, it comes from a sincere place, and that there is something actually going on. However, the sad part is that we've seen, especially in Hollywood, people now weaponizing these situations when there could be other things going, because there has been other reports going on why he is not back for season 3, and I do think it is very suspicious that he privated that post, because he didn't leave it up for that long after he posted it. I remember that, and then he does it like right after this news comes out. In a lot of ways, and I've having seen this from my 12 years as being a journalist, it's every side always wants to be able to control a narrative. The studio wants to control a narrative, the network wants to control a narrative, the actors, their representatives wants to control a narrative, their co-stars want to control the narrative. So for me, I will say this. This is definitely surprising that this is happening, that he is no longer going to be on the show. Because we don't see this very often. We don't see one of the main series regulars just leave. We haven't had that since Ruby Rose, and that's a whole completely different situation. And with this, this is all. It's very unusual and very strange, but no actor is bigger than the character they play, and in the end, the character can always be recast, and that's what's going to happen. I will say, throughout my time watching the show, his take on Jonathan Kent has been the one that I never really connected with. Like, I read a little bit of Jonathan Kent in, or John, as they keep saying, in the comics, and these two could, the comic version and the TV version, they could not be any different from one another. And if anything, Alex Garfin, who plays Jordan, which is so funny, Jordan Elsass plays Jonathan, Alex plays a character named Jordan. It's confusing, but he feels more like the Jonathan Kent from the comic that I recognize more and so on. And in season 2, I made it very vocal that I was not a big fan of Jonathan's character arc. I felt it wasn't a character assassination in a lot of ways because I felt like it was just the drug storyline, the is it X Kryptonite or is it Kryptonite X they call it?
X Kryptonite.
X Kryptonite. The whole thing was just so lame. It's so exhausting having to do, like see just he took it because he wanted to be able to play football. Yeah, cool. Except it's not. So for me, like but I know he has fans. So if you like that character, if you like his portrayal, it's completely valid. It's completely fine. We can all have our different feelings about how we respond to a certain character on the show. But yeah, for me, I didn't connect with him, but in terms of like how they're gonna deal with this, I'm excited to see a new actor come in, and we get to continue Jonathan and hopefully have a better arc, and hopefully kind of like they can kind of like soft reboot him a little bit. Like I don't know, like he comes back from summer camp or something. Like let's say the season 3 takes place right before school, and the reason he's gone for a couple of weeks is because he's still at summer camp, and he comes back and he's just explore things about himself or whatever and so on. And be a little more involved because season 2 just wasn't a good season for him. Like, I don't know like what storyline he had that was actually good, but when it comes in terms of like what's been going on the other side, because again him just posting that they having not said anything, I think that can say a lot as well. So but if there is validity to what's been going out there, then I think that if you're an actor in Hollywood, you have a responsibility, you have a privilege that you have to respect and be responsible with. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, then the door is that way. Simple as fact. If I do something wrong with my job, and my employees do not like it, I can head for the door. If Jordan does something in his job, he can head. I get the virtual door, I guess. But yeah, I'm just saying that it's I think the truth will always be there somewhere in the middle, and I think that again it's all about controlling the narrative. So, but I'm whatever. I'm hoping I'm hoping that his mental health issues are real and they are valid, and that he actually is getting help, and that he isn't taking the opportunity to take advantage of society's view on mental health. Because if you talk about mental health, people will kind of stop up and be like, oh whoa, this is I hope everything is okay and so on. Because we don't want to see young people harm themselves. We don't want to see anyone harm themselves or do something worse and see those in the headlines, because it's sad when it happened. That's why I'm hoping that this wasn't a PR stunt of him to just be able to gain sympathy or whatever and so on. But yeah, no, I don't know who do you have. Do you know anyone? Do you have anyone in mind that could play the new Jonathan?
No, I have no idea. I'm bad with fan casting, but I do want to bring up Jordan Kent's comment here about
a lot of Jordans tonight. Jordan Chainsaw, Jordan Kent.
He says hopes the fans are not mean to the new actor, and that's the thing. Unfortunately, there will be some people that are going to be mean and rude and say shit online because of the person replacing Jordan. That's what's going to happen, and it's going to be unfortunate, but it's not this person's fault. This person is getting a job, and they can't just write out Jonathan. I guess they could, but it'd probably really a dumb decision. Kakashi Productions. It's not the same as Sarah Lance and Arrow.
Yeah,
that actress was in one scene in a flashback.
Yeah,
it wasn't like Sarah Lance kept popping up in season 1, and then all of a sudden Katie Lotz is in season 2. No, this would be like if they had. Okay, this would be like if they had for the first 2 seasons they had Katie Cassidy as Laurel Lance, and then they replaced her in season 3 moving forward in Arrow with someone else. That's pretty much what's happening here, essentially. Taking a not lead, but a co-lead, essentially, just a lead from the show who has many scenes, and of course is a series regular, and then they replace them after 2 full seasons. So it's kind of that's basically what's occurring here. Oh God, not Tom Holland. No.
Yeah. If that happens, that means that they're going to lose all their special effects money.
Yeah. I mean, Andy was the one who brought up the idea of like going to camp a couple weeks.
Yeah, goes the summer camp or just coming. Amazing. And when I said with the summer camping, like I think what I was meaning more about was that if, for example, like they can, if they don't have someone by September 6th when they start filming, then for example, they may just write him out throughout the first few episodes, and then he comes or whatever and so on, and and he looks with the new actor, and because you have to do things like chemistry trends and so on, because the scenes he's gonna have, mostly have the actor is gonna have the most scenes, but most likely it will be Alice Garfin, which their dynamic was huge on the show. So yeah, they needed to probably do things with Tyler and Bitsy and whatever and so on. But but again, for all we know, maybe they will have someone, because Hollywood they operate quickly sometimes, but this is one of those times where I'm hoping that they kind of just take their time and so on, because I think there's other things we need to deal with in the season premiere and the first 2 or 3 episodes. But yeah, I'm. See, I think it might be the opposite. I think because they need some positive press right now, I think they might go with someone that maybe fans are familiar with, maybe from like another genre series or something like that, and kind of I mean, yeah, whether you're unknown or if you're known, there will be hatred coming your way, sadly, because Twitter just has a no filter. But that's why it's important for the people who. Because the thing is, the shitheads are the vocal minority usually, and that's why the people who are more positive but don't maybe always engage or say things, whenever they get cast, say, "Hey man, congrats! So glad to see you play this character. Hope it goes well. I hope you have a fun time. Getting to be Superman's son." So show that support, because it's not just when yes, watching the show is of course the biggest support because that gives them the ratings and the recognition and so on, but saying something like just sending, if you're on Twitter and you're constantly tweeting anyway, you can send an actor something like, "Hey, don't listen to the haters. You're amazing. You're gonna be fun. Looking forward to see you," or whatever.
I mean, the thing is too, regardless, like you said, who they cast, they're going to be people responding, and it's not like Ruby Rose. Ruby Rose was the lead. That's a little bit of a different situation. And instead of recasting Kate Kane, which at first, honestly, I thought they should have done that, because the whole idea of a new character at the time, and I'm like, how are you going to bring a new character into all these storylines that are not wrapped up? And then they still went the route of Ron Wilder. But in this instance, if Tyler Hoechlin left the show, I don't know, you would continue Superman and Lois at that point. I don't know. But see, like, we're not in that situation. So I don't know. And thing is too, I mean, if they do cast a new, because like, let's be honest, Alex and Jordan both, when they were cast as Jonathan and Jordan, let's be honest, they were not well-known actors. They're definitely more well-known now because of their appearance on the show. But I didn't know who Alex was at all. I only knew of Jordan because he was on a show me and my wife watched on Hulu called Little Fires Everywhere, a limited series that's based off a book, I think. And he was one of the brothers. He wasn't a lead per se, but he was in the show a decent amount. But that's the only reason I even recognized him. If it wasn't for that show, I would have no idea who he was. So it's probably gonna be someone we might have never heard of, but it could be somebody that maybe has been on the CW before. Who knows? But
or from like another genre to kind of because I know there was a lot of people saying whatever the name of the kid who's playing Derek's son on Teen Wolf movie that Tyler Hoechlin's in. Like, oh, just bring him over. They kind of do look a little similar, but no, I mean, again, I for me, I think I'm more pro the idea of having someone new come in, because I think that can also give them an opportunity to kind of just revamp the character a little bit, because I just, for me, I just, I want to love both sons. I want to love both of these kids, but like, it's just, I'm more of a Jordan Kent fan. And of course, the fan of Jordan Kent in the chat too, of course, don't worry. But I mean, they barely remember she's on the show.
Nobody would even recognize. Nobody would probably even notice if they did.
I keep forgetting what her freaking name is. So I'm just like, whenever she does pop up, I'm like,
I don't know.
I'm like, who's this kid? Is that her? Like, is that Sarah's cousin or something? But
yeah.
There's one comment I want to bring this up. From there's a lot of Jordans today, but this is not Jordan, but it sounds like Jordan. Jordan patron. The fact that are painting this narrative that he was uncomfortable when playing in Bicycle is crazy to me. The Biping was just very recent in the comics. I think what people are responding to about the fact is that when that thing had happened and when he was talking about it in interviews, it wasn't that he was saying uncomfortable, but he seems so closed off to just the idea, because again, like when you're a teenager, you sometimes you come out, you discover things about yourself throughout high school. That's why high school is so important. A lot of people discover their sexuality in high school. So, and I think what people got upset by, including myself, was just his dismissiveness of just the idea that this could be a thing later on. Also, he just he's never really been that well in interviews. Like, he always kind of flubs and says things. So, I mean, there was that one podcast interview he did where, like, he confused everyone and their mother about what he was saying regarding the show's place in the airways and so on. So, yeah, for me, I'm just, I get the people's issues with it and so on. But, but it's like, he definitely didn't leave the show because he's uncomfortable playing by. And it's definitely related to other issues.
Yes, I want this.
Yeah, he does his like lightest voice he can, like Jordan, we gotta
He has to shave and he has to like walk on his knees, pretending to be a little boy.
And his and all the clothes he's wearing are too small for him, so he looks like
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like he's gonna be bigger than his own dad or whatever. So that would be hilarious. But hopefully we'll hear things soon, and when that happens, we will talk about it. We will discuss it. But if you guys have casting ideas for the new Jonathan, drop them here, and then we can talk it in the Q&A segment. But it's time to get marvelous, green and marvelous.
Marvelous and green, everybody. We're talking about episode 1 of She-Hulk. Now, I believe we'll talk spoilers. I think we're going to talk spoilers. So we'll give you a few seconds, guys, to be prepared, because we're talking spoilers for She-Hulk. So if you haven't seen the episode, moment of silence. In 3, 2, 1, you better be gone, because we're talking She-Hulk episode 1.
Captain America fucked.
Captain America fucked. He did. I think this episode, in my title, I said great start in the title of my reaction to the episode. I thought it was a solid, it's a great start when you look at how they set up Jennifer in the show. My only real complaint is that I think they shouldn't have used the entire episode basically just to do the origin stuff with Bruce. I get it why they did it, because it started months into her already being She-Hulk, even though she hadn't used her powers, and practicing her wrap-up speech, her closing arguments during a case, and then it flashes back to how she gets how she becomes She-Hulk, how she gets the blood from Bruce within her, and then the transformations and realizing, oh, I'm not going through the same thing as you, Bruce. And then, of course, we cut back to where she has to actually become She-Hulk to fight Tatiana or something, whoever this character, I don't even remember how to pronounce her.
I will pull it up.
But fighting that character for a brief second and her clothes being ripped. I mean, Bruce did say you need to have 2 sets of clothes.
Spandex is your best friend.
Yeah, spandex is your best friend. But she didn't know she was going to turn into She-Hulk at that moment. She had no idea. So she ruined her outfit. But
you were saying it right, Titania.
Yeah. So I think overall the episode was I think it's pretty good. I liked the dynamic between Jennifer and Bruce. I felt like Tatiana Maslany and Mark Ruffalo did a great job with chemistry for sure. And I think the play fight they had was like, I think the best part of it, just to see, how she's still throwing him around, but she's not really prepared for the stuff that he was doing, and just kind of like just smacking her around and stuff and throwing her. But obviously it wasn't really hurting her, and then pushing her off the cliff at one point. That was funny. And I do want to say this real fast before we jump into your thoughts. There are, of course, a lot of people online. And I want to say a lot, I mean more of like a certain amount of people that have their opinion on She-Hulk, and they have a certain mindset behind the show. And I'm telling you, they probably didn't even watch the show.
Yuck, a woman.
Yeah, well, I think not even just that. I just think the whole idea of they're complaining about the small little things, about how in the comics when she transformed, he was saving her and she saved him in the episode, so that's wrong. And then they go on to these other things that they deemed wrong. And fun fact, people, the MCU is not the comics. The MCU is its own thing. It takes things and adapts said things. And look, if you're upset about them not adapting She-Hulk's origins properly, then don't watch the MCU, because everything else is not accurate either. Everything. All the things. You kidding me? But Captain America's kind of right. There's stuff they didn't do in Captain America's origins in the MCU that's from the comics. And the thing is, there are so many different iterations of She-Hulk in the comics that it's impossible to adapt every single thing that has happened in her different origins and the different takes they've had on the character in the comics. They went this route, and that's what it is. And the thing is, too, if you watch the episode and it's not for you, you don't like it, fine. But I feel like some of these people that are complaining about the show didn't even actually watch it. They watched a clip on YouTube, and that's where they got their opinion. Or they didn't even watch that at all. So there's that. So that's my overall thoughts. So that was pretty good, and I'm excited for next week's episode.
Captain America fucked.
That's pretty much the takeaway, I think.
Yeah, definitely. No, I was definitely a little cautiously optimistic about the show, because I didn't like the visuals and the trailers when we were leading up to the show. Of course, a lot of times they don't even show what like the finished product, because sometimes they're working. And we know with the MCU VFX controversy that's been coming out lately, it's becoming more understandable that it is more on the people in charge not giving the VFX artist enough time to finish things and so on. And it looks better now, but it feels like I'm like, why does Fiona from Shrek from like the early 2000s still look better? Like, because that's all computer animation, whatever, and so on. But it looks better now. It definitely looks better now. And Tatiana Maslany, because I never watched Orphan Black, but I know she's like, she's very popular. A lot of people love that show, and so she's awesome. I loved her as Jen. I was because I was only just trying to get used to the fact that, okay, this is the first MCU product that has really broken the fourth wall. So that's kind of like, it was like I can't have to remind myself, why is she talking to me? Like, I'm trying to watch a show. I'm like, no, because this is what they're doing on the show. And I felt that honestly they kind of went through the origin a little too quickly for me. Like, I was like, oh, we're gonna start right in the middle of their car, road trip, and then the car accident happens and whatever and so on. And also, I want to know like why that ship was even there.
Bruce made that point, saying he's like, "What was that ship?" And he's like, "Yeah, I gotta get to the bottom of that." So they're gonna explain what it is. Apparently, we're gonna find out in the next couple episodes, because people who've seen the first 4 episodes say that is a major impact in the show.
And it was
a lot of rumors of what that is. We'll see.
What was it? The ship was a Sakaar. How do you say
that? Sakaar. And do you want to know what the rumor is from the rumor mill?
I mean, I don't know where it comes from first.
I don't know where it comes from. All I know is that people have been theorizing for a while that Hulk's son is going to be in this show. I don't know.
He has a son.
Yeah, he has a son in the comics. Yeah. People are thinking that's what it is, but I don't know. Watch it be something completely different. But people are saying we're going to find out in the first 4 episodes.
But who did he fuck?
I don't know. It wasn't Captain America. I don't know. Somebody on Sakaar, I'm guessing. I don't know. When he was Hulk, I have no idea.
I figured he didn't. I figured he didn't fuck Captain America, because unless Arnold Schwarzenegger is on the show, I don't think a man can get pregnant in the MCU. I don't know. No, I hadn't heard about this theory, but because again, I also didn't know he has a son in the comics. But I'm like, interesting. But if this theory comes to fruition, that will be fun. Like, well, oh, why was he then attacking his father with that ship? Because that ship, I was like, what the fuck is it doing here? And so it was just like funny. But no, I thought Tatiana Maslany, I think she was great. I love that she is. She's just so unashamedly honest, and and I think I've seen some of the hatred that Jen has been getting, because like that speech about when a woman, what happens when a woman gets angry and like how society perceives that and whatever. So, or she heard, even saying remotely just once, oh, as if because I'm better than you, Bruce, so on. Like, you know what? Yeah, maybe that is just a simple fact. Maybe she actually just is a little more mature than he is. Maybe she can deal with things a little better than he can because he kind of he was born with this condition, but he didn't really take care of some that well in the beginning because he was on if looking back to older Hulk movies and I haven't seen them in like 10 years. So I don't remember fully what happened. But he was on the run or whatever and so on, and then he was with the Avengers, but then he was on another planet for like 5 years. How long he was gone between Civil War and maybe between Age of Ultron and so on. But so no, I did like the dynamic quite a lot. It felt very brother and sisterly, not as opposed to cousins. But they were great together. I love that that Bruce had just was so easy on getting petty at moment like, you don't have another voice to deal with for 10 years. I'm like, did you only deal like I thought he dealt like with this other persona for like the moment he was a kid when Hulk first started emerging. Like, wasn't that the case? Like, he's been like he's been like like he's been able to like Hulk out since he was a kid.
No, he. If you watch Incredible Hulk 2008, he is I think in Mexico not Mexico when it happens. He's in the States, then he has to run away to Mexico. I think goes to Mexico. Is that where he went or somewhere? But yeah, 2008 Incredible Hulk, that that happened when he was an adult already. He was working at a lab.
Because I always still look at Ang Lee's Hulk as like a semi quasi tie-in, like because they did play the whole open, like the origin story in the open credit, which by the way, we need to get back to that. We need to do more opening credit like that. I can kind of just give you the origin story very quickly. But no, I did. It was very very funny. Like I love the bathroom scene with the women, and I heard apparently that the showrunner had to like really fight for it, and I'm just like, oh, of course she had to. But it was a great. I thought that was a great thing. Again, like it was, it didn't really necessarily surpass my thoughts like on like Miss Marvel because Miss Marvel is like right now my favorite MCU show of 2022. But Shield is on a really good start, and it's just the format that I'm just very not used to. I'm like, okay, first of all, it's only 30 minutes. It's a dramedy, and also just she like how long did it take for you to just get used to her like just turn to the camera and just talking to you because we haven't seen that since Deadpool.
I mean, I'm used to fourth wall breaks. I've seen that plenty of times. I knew it was going to happen because we had already heard about it, and she was breaking the fourth wall in the trailers, so it wasn't jarring. No, but
not jarring, but I had to get used to it because when you watch a trailer, it's for like a couple of seconds, but here it was like at least 30 minutes of like constant turning to us and telling us things, and it's like okay, and honestly, I wouldn't mind if they do it with maybe like other MCU products, and now I kind of want to see her in Deadpool 3. Like at that point, that would be funny to just see them fighting about like, well, who are you talking to? Well, I'm talking to my camera. Who the fuck are you talking to? Well, I'm talking to my camera, Jen, because it's my movie.
They're looking at two different cameras.
And you see the cameraman on the opposite side, like just holding the camera and being like, what the fuck am I doing here? Now, you and I will play the respective cameraman and just be like, hi, Jordan. Hi, Andy. My camera's very heavy. Mine, too.
Yeah, we'll cameo.
Yeah, we will be principal characters because we're going to be filming them throughout the whole movie.
Gotcha.
But no, I enjoyed it. I can't wait to see the next episode. I thought Titania was awesome. I love her. I love her look. I want that coat. So Marvel Studios, if you want to send me that coat, that would be great. Plus, give me a plus L. That would be great. Now, we need to discuss because this is very huge. I mean, this is going to change the MCU forever. We need to talk about this crucial point, which is that Steve Rogers did fuck. How did you emotionally cope with that? And what is your what's your headcanon for how it all went down from the little information we got on screen? This is very important, Jordan.
I really don't care. I thought it was just a funny joke.
No, for me, listen. This changes everything. Everything.
Well, we know he fucks Peggy when he goes back and stays in the time with her.
So. It's important to us to know what was his first love, first night like, Okay, so one last question before we move on. When do you think we're going to see Charlie Cox as Daredevil in the show?
I wouldn't be surprised if they make us wait. I wouldn't be surprised if we have to wait till the back half of the show. I don't know, because I think because now she's revealed herself. Because as I was saying in my video, and the more I think about it, it's like,
which is in the video description, by the way. So if you haven't seen it, you can go watch his reaction after the show.
Thank you. Please do. Please. So.
And his Wednesday Adam trailer's reaction, by the way. I forgot to say that.
So, like, when the show starts, only her family, including Bruce, and her friend at the law firm knows that she can turn into the Hulk, essentially, She-Hulk. So now that she's revealed herself in front of a judge, all these people that were in the courtroom, including jurors and everything, like, it's out the window. Everyone's going to find out. So maybe he pops up in episode 3 or something, or 4. I mean, because now that she's revealed herself, it's going to change her whole life. Like, this whole idea of never becoming a hero, that's out the window. So I don't know. Because, I mean, in the trailer, you see her wearing her She-Hulk suit. So my thinking is she probably doesn't get that for a bit. And that's when we see him see him pop up in whatever that, not like a rooftop, but like a parking deck sequence. So whatever's going on, it's probably going to be in the back half of the season. But it's all good, because I don't need him to pop up for me to enjoy the show. That's the beauty of it, because I think there's some people that are only going to be watching the show for him to pop up.
No, but I'm excited. I want to see them together in court together. Like I want him to be like maybe he's like the opposing attorney or something. Like I want to. Like, I don't want to, because that's what I'm most excited. I mean, yes, because I'm excited to see my British daddy back as Daredevil. But of course, I also want to see him being an attorney. You know, I want to see him being, like, he's a really good attorney. He's a really good lawyer. And because I think that's what, like, but for me, because I never even thought about the idea that, like, when, yes, I mean, he will be Daredevil, but it's like, the reason I think you would bring him over is because they're both attorneys. So I do want to see that. Like, who knows? Maybe he's like the prosecutor. I don't know. It would be funny if he's like the prosecutor against Jen, because is she supposed to be defending Abomination or something? So that, I think it would be. So no, but I'm watching the show for her. But I think it would be funny as hell if we could see them in court together.
Yeah, we'll have to just wait and see. I mean, I think he might pop up as Matt as well, not just Daredevil. I feel like it's going to be one of those things where, like, they work against each other, and then they find out about each other's secret identities, even though she's already revealed herself, so it's out the window.
Maybe I think episode 6 or 7 is probably when he might show up. But yeah, well, we have one final.
We do have some super chats related to
it. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
I was trying to get to them. It's Scott About says, this episode laid the ground to be one of the best shows. Possibly. I mean, now that we're past the origin, now we can focus on the world finding out she's She-Hulk, and then kind of seeing how she handles that. But it's possible. It's possible. And Scott also has a $10 super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
The MCU is its own comic run. Think of it. It's watching a comic run build over time. You can pick and choose for sure, as well as be there for the crossover team ups. Fair point. Obviously, at this point now, you pretty much have to watch everything to understand what's happening next. But I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And MCU, they've always been pulling kind of like a little bit from both. Kind of, they pull a little bit from the Ultimate Comics, the Earth 1616, and so on. So there's an amalgamation of things. So I mean, like, you can even say that about the Arrowverse, because I think it would be boring if they just took the way the comics were exactly done and then just do page to panel. Like, then, because then you know what's exactly going to happen. I think that's why you can, like, they definitely like adapt and like take inspiration from it. But I think every creator wants to do, put their own stamp on things. And I'm not trying to quote Mr. Todd Helpman, who could not stop saying, we will put our own stamp on the mythology for like 2 seasons, like the exact phrasing. Every time we want to put our own step on the mythology, and that got so sick and so on. But yeah, I also remember that there's probably things from the earlier comic of She-Hulk that probably wouldn't translate that well today, So, but yeah, but we're just always gonna be people being, it's a woman, woke, social warrior,
exactly. And then Al Johnson's Variety Channel has a point about looking at Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet comic that they're not similar at all. Like, there are things pulled from the Infinity Gauntlet storyline into Infinity War, but it ain't the same. Not even close.
The comic was called Infinity
Yeah,
Gauntlet.
because I think there's Infinity War and Infinity Gauntlet in regards to because the rumor before they had released Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2 when they did the whole El Capitan Phase 3 announcement announcing all the big stuff, the video you pulled from to show the Infinity War logos, the rumor before it actually came out was that Infinity Gauntlet and then Infinity Wars instead of Part 1 and Part 2. So that was kind of the rumor. Of course, that went to Infinity War and Endgame, but I think that would have been interesting if they would have had Part 1 and Part 2 retitled Infinity Gauntlet, Infinity War. But they had a whole different approach of dealing with a completely different Thanos in Endgame. So a lot of time travel stuff. But yeah, it's all good. It happens. Has any She-Hulk or Marvel comic recommendations? I really don't have any recommendations per se.
Although there was something, apparently there is a QR code in the episode, so if you scan it, you get a free She-Hulk comic. So that I think that's
that with Moon Knight. I remember doing.
Yeah, I think they're doing it with all the shows now, and I think it's very smart. So I think that's a good place to start. It's supposed to be like the QR code is like on the left side of a wall, so just look for it. But that's
like little Easter eggs. All right, let's get into this really bizarre.
Yeah, and we're gonna emphasize it is rumor. So so this has to do with Madam Web, and so the rumor comes from a website called the Cosmic Circle. Now they kind of came around, I think around like 2 years ago or something, and they've had kind of their own inside stuff and so on. A lot of things have. They have a good track record. Not everything always comes to fruition and so on, but they always, most of the time from things I read of them, they are closer to the reality of things than what we know. So this comes about the Madam Web movie that comes from Sony Pictures, the studio that brought you More Than Time, and the epic Jared Leto biopic. No, I'm kidding. But the rumor is so. Madam Web, which is part of the Sony Spider-Man universe, is filming right now in Boston, and they have now revealed who they're hearing. That there's a lot of actors just being one after one gets getting tapped to play some mystery character. But we have a rumored cast in this. So now the article is in the show notes if you guys want to go click on that and see what was said there. But this is what's been rumored. It's not been confirmed. But I can see some validity to this. So starting with these three actresses. Dakota Johnson is rumored to be playing Cassandra Webb. We know she's playing Madam Web, but she seems to be playing the Cassandra Webb version of the character. Sydney Sweeney from Euphoria is reportedly playing Julia Carpenter, another Madam Web. And then Celeste O'Connor is rumored to be playing Maddie Franklin. Now people being like, who the fuck is Maddie Franklin, Andy? Who the fuck is she? Well, she's the third Spider-Woman from the comics. Now, and this is one I think Jordan's going to be like kind of laughing a little bit at because it is a little funny, but it could actually be really cool if it works out. Adam Scott, if you watch Parks and Recreation, he's rumored to be playing Ben Parker, Uncle Ben. And Emma Roberts, you've seen her. I mean, like she's seen her ever. She did Scream Queens, and she's been in, I think, all 79 seasons of American Horror Story because Ryan Murphy does not know when to quit. And she is reportedly playing Mary Parker. And Mary Parker is Ben's sister, aka Peter Parker's mama. And last but not least, Isabella Merced is reportedly playing Anya Corazon. And Anya Corazon, who again I am not familiar with her, but she is Spider-Girl in the comics. One of the Spider-Girls. And what they're saying now with all it is that this is essentially now when I say Spider-Man prequel, now I want before everyone's like Tom Holland, no. It's a prequel to whoever the Spider-Man is in this universe. Because so when we talked about it a couple of weeks ago in Boston, they have remodeled sets there to look like an early 2000s New York City. We've seen Daily Bugle vans driving around and so on. And we've seen, there were some set photos of Dakota in like a red coat that was kind of giving people an idea that, oh, maybe she is maybe she is playing Julia Carpenter, but it seems that you know, I don't know, maybe the red coat is just something that gets passed on from one Madam Web to another. It's a passive torch, and we've seen Dakota and Adam like running together as paramedics. Like there was a car accident, for example, that they showed up and they were doing things at. So, um, but they're definitely but they're definitely setting up Madam Web as this kind of Doctor Strange kind of character with her like psionic powers, whatever. So, um. Jordan, this was a lot of information, and I know, like we've talked a little bit about it. I know you find this absolutely ridiculous, but okay. So let's say if this is true, would you? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
Jennifer.
Hello. Thank you so much, Captain America. Fucks. I'm late. She looks hilarious, but as a Canger, I'll give 6 out of 10. Sorry, I'm late. No, it's okay. Oh, Carter, I'm so sorry. I'm glad they're okay.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, that's funny because literally I have been watching car crash compilation videos, getting pissed off at stupid drivers. So that's weird timing. But thank you, Jennifer. We did talk about She-Hulk, but 6 out of 10. It's not bad. Not bad. But yeah.
I hope everyone is okay. I hope everyone is okay.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, for being here. We were wondering where you were, but Jennifer, we're so glad you're here, and we're glad all of you guys are here. Thank you.
Yeah.
So, to what you were saying about Madam Web,
you can laugh if you want to.
Holy shit balls. Okay. So I'm gonna bring up one of these images that you brought up. Okay. So the Adam Scott, Emma Roberts. There's other rumors that are suggesting that Adam and Emma are actually playing Peter Parker's parents. They're not playing Ben and Mary. Or Mary Parker. I think Mary Parker is.
Yeah, we've seen her be pregnant. She is pregnant.
Adam Scott is playing the father, not playing Ben, but playing his father. And so that rumor has been thrown into the mix, is that he may not be playing Ben. I mean, he could be playing Ben. He could be. But they're saying that he might actually be playing the father of Peter Parker. And Emma's playing, of course, the mother. I think regardless, I think that rumor of her being pregnant with Peter Parker, I think is sticking. I think Adam Scott's kind of up in the air. There's also other rumors of other people that have been cast in this movie that have not been announced yet, that are playing other versions of other different heroes or something. Because if this is truly what they're doing, what a weird fucking story. However, I don't know what else you could have done with the Madam Web movie, because I was seriously sitting here. We've been sitting here for the past.
Then the Multiverse started.
Yeah, we've been talking about this Madam Web project for a couple different episodes for different reasons, and we've always asked the question: why are they doing this? What is the purpose of this? So, if this is to be believed, if any of this is true, if the Peter Parker not being born yet, and there's a villain going after his mother before she gives birth, then this, I think, is I don't know what other story you can tell with Madam Web, especially with Madam Web not being actually Madam Web, because she's not Madam Web. I'm sorry, she's not
yet. Well, not yet.
Yeah, she's not yet, but like, honestly, if you're going to introduce Madam Web, you might as well do the Amazing Spider-Man 3 with Andrew Garfield and just have Madam Web in that movie. Like, I just don't understand this concept. But thing is, I think this is their way of getting around the fact that they can't technically use Spider-Man, because right now the rights are still kind of up in the air with the MCU. So they can't technically do Spider-Man, but they can.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Sony cannot use Spider-Man in a non-MCU film at this moment, because the character is still kind of tied in with the MCU in terms of contract. I know Tom Holland hasn't signed one yet, but like the way the contract was kind of set up is that Sony, as you've noticed, Sony's been doing all these other movies. They've done Venom 2, Morbius. They've not used Spider-Man, and they technically have the rights. So why haven't they? It's because they technically can't, unless the deal with the MCU is completely done. Now, if Tom Holland never came back when the 2019 deal fell flat before they re-signed and got that all figured out, Sony could have, because there's no contract with Marvel. But
wait, what you're saying is that Tom Spider-Man cannot appear
No,
in the.
no Spider-Man, no Peter.
Okay,
Parker.
well that okay, then I want to know where that comes from because I did hear that Tom's is complicated because then Kevin Feige has to sign up and approve and so on. I've never heard squat about that Spider-Man cannot show up at all. That he couldn't be like, well, let's say I mean,
I don't think a Spider-Man like I'm saying I don't think Peter Parker like Spider-Man he can pop up in a Sony movie unless the MCU deal is completely done. That's
see that's the way I've been understanding of it, like from all what the trades have always said over the years, is that so the deal they have is to have Spider-Man because they have not given up the rights. They don't share the rights, but they have a deal where he can show where Tom Holland Spider-Man can show up in the movie in the MCU movie. He can have his trilogy or whatever, and they have their whole split revenue thing. I know there was the original deal was not something that Marvel always liked, so that's why they had their divorce and then they got married again with a new deal. But like I've never heard, and I don't. And that's why I'm like I was a little like I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry. So I apologize for that. But I never heard anything about that they cannot put Spider-Man at all because Sony owns the movie rights, but they're sharing this particular version of Spider-Man with Tom Holland.
in my point is that if they could use Spider-Man in live action, that's not Tom Holland. Why haven't they? In Venom or Venom 2 or Morbius or in this Madam Web, they're not even having Peter Parker. He's not even born. Like if they could use another live action Spider-Man, Peter Parker, they would have already done it. I think it's because of whatever rights they signed with is that Peter Parker is tied into the MCU Sony deal. They cannot technically use an actor. So that's why I think this is the way it is. Like we can use all these other spider characters, all these other characters are popping up in terms of rumors, apparently who's in this movie. And that's why the Silk show that I don't think is ever actually happening at Amazon is like, that was announced like forever ago. I don't think it's happening, but that's why they could do that because it's not Peter Parker. But in this instance, unless they come out and say the MCU, Sony, Peter Parker, Spider-Man deal is done, then you're not then Sony can do whatever they want with that character. But
I'm sorry. I think that we're giving inaccurate information because there is nothing report about like that. Again, Sony owns the rights 100%. They have a deal where they can have where they co-finance a Spider-Man trilogy, and whenever when Tom Holland shows up in like Avengers or whatever, has he only been in Avengers movies so far? No, Cap Free. Never mind. Oh, he's all been Cap Free and so on. But yeah, that's a deal between them. But it's like we would have heard this would have been a massive deal if we have heard that somehow Sony Marvel had the only way that Marvel and Disney has for Spider-Man is Spider-Man on television. That's why you've seen Ultimate Spider-Man, you've seen the one that came. I don't know. There was another one that came after that. So yeah, I don't know. If anyone in the chat knows what this could be referenced to, like please, like if you don't know where this came from, because again, I've never heard this, and this is something that would have been made a bigger deal if this was actually happening. Because I agree with you. Tom can probably not just show up just willy nilly in Venom or Morbius or Craven or whatever. I agree with you on that. I think they could perfectly put in another Spider-Man if they wanted to, like if it's Andrew, if it's Tom, or if it's Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield, Toby, yeah. Because remember, we did, we even had like initially we had Toby's Spider-Man show up in that Morbius trailer. So like obviously they can feature Spider-Man, they can do things with Spider-Man. It is possible. So, but I think let's just move on from that because until we can, because you could be wrong, I could be wrong. I think let's just focus on the Madam Web and so because I just I don't want to give I don't think either of us want to give our viewers any wrong information. So let's just go back to the Madam Web thing instead.
I mean, I really don't have really much more to say. What if Marvel and Sony made a secret deal to build Sony MCU universe as part of a multiverse? I don't think so. I feel like you're tying because with all the stuff that has been announced with the multiverse phase, I don't know where you fit in, and there was no talk about Morbius or Craven or Madam Web being a part of MCU, and that would have been talked about during the phase announcements. I don't believe it. I don't believe that's going to happen. I could be wrong.
I can see it happen. Because I don't think the scripts have been finished yet. So for all we know, maybe they will show up, or they're waiting to see. Kevin Feige is like, hey, Amy Pascal, how's Man of Web doing? Is it gonna do well in the box office? Oh no, okay, then we just won't put her in it. So I think anything between this year until 2025, I think anything can happen. So but I think it'd be fun. I kind of just want, because I'm just expecting like all the multiverse madness to go on. Like we're gonna have fuck it, like bring back the original Fantastic Four. Chris Evans shows up in a blue suit again, and they're like, Cap is like, no, Human Torch. But I think that would be cool. There has to be a reason why it's called the Multiverse Saga for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, it has to. I'm assuming they're going to introduce more multiverse stuff, like in Quantum Mania or something. I mean, I'm assuming Phase 5 is probably going to do some more multiverse stuff. Jennifer has a big super chat. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
First, I have to catch up on some stuff. I really hope that Young Justice gets a season 5. Don't think so. And I'm very surprised about the recasting of Sandman and Lois. I'm not sure if I'm happy about it. Kind of mixed on it. I hear you. Yeah. I hear you. But yeah, I mean, Young Justice season 5, not looking good. But what's up with the camera? Well, you can explain.
Yeah, I got a little sick earlier today before the show, and I just right now I look very, very messed up. Like again, I didn't trip or fall anything. I just, when I get ill, my face looks very puffy. I look very sweaty and like red. I have like red cheeks or whatever and so on, and that kind of triggers my body dysmorphia. So like right now, like all the mirrors in my apartment, they're covered, because I don't want to see myself. So by next week, I'll be back to normal, and you can see my ugly face again. When it's less uglier, but thank you for the concern. I'm okay. I'm okay. I have taken some medication, and I'm sitting comfortably. So but I guess what I will say about it, if any of this is true, I think it's bonkers as fuck, because I think the thing that threw off people the most. Here's the thing. I think definitely what's happening is that Dakota and Sydney, they're playing those two characters for a fact. I think that is absolutely what's happening. I do think when it comes to having both Spider-Girl and Spider-Woman in it, because I said this to Jordan, I think we talked on Wednesday or something. I said it's just true. These could be small roles, and maybe like there's some, because I think they would obviously come from like different universes or something, and maybe they're just like, maybe there's someone going after Mary Parker, and for the multiverse to maintain and to be stable and exist, Peter Parker has to live and survive. Well, obviously, it's going to be one universe where he doesn't survive, because that's how we get Miles Morales. So maybe these Spider Women and Spider heroines come in from different universes to protect Mary Parker, or they come from the future. Maybe they're from the future. And they're like, we have to go, Marty. We have to go back. We have to go back. It's your kid, the one who's not born yet. Exactly, Mary. Exactly. Why did I say Marty? Oh, because I was doing Back to the Future. But I think this could be bonkers as hell. But you know what? I will say this makes more sense to me than fucking anything that happened to Morbius. I don't know why. Like, I don't know how you justify a movie having Matt Smith dancing around as a crazy vampire. Like, that makes less sense to me than a prequel movie that follows Ben and Mary. And the thing is, because the reason I think the whole Richard Parker thing could be, maybe that's not the case. Like, maybe there is another actor there, because they're still announcing actors joining this movie. So maybe there is someone playing Rich. It's Richard Parker, right?
I think I think so.
Yeah, Richard Parker, Mary Parker, Ben Parker, May. So her.
May and Mary.
No, Mary May. Okay, that's wow. Marvel, come on now. But yeah, this could be very fun, and because I like. There's a lot of actors I like in this cast, so I'm hoping. I want this to be good, and maybe just the director doesn't go on Twitter the night before the movie comes out and just said, "Oh, so that's what happened in the post credits scene we were talking about." Like the other day, me and Joy were talking about. I was like, why didn't the director just go and spoil everything for Morbius the night before the movie even came out? He was like, he probably stopped caring, or whatever it was said. It was funny either way.
Didn't care. Not anymore.
All right, shall we get to Q&A?
Let's get to some Q&A, guys. Q&A. Ask us questions, or we'll fucking leave. That's it.
Let me go check how many likes we have.
Live question time, guys. Let's get to some Q&A.
We have 23 likes so far.
23. Jennifer, thank you for the super chat. I'm
Thank
not
you
sure
so much.
if I asked you guys, but are you guys Transformer fans? And if you are, then who are your favorite Transformer? Mine is Ultra Magnus. Magnus? Huh. I don't know who that is, but I mean, I'm not a huge Transformer fan. I'm not. I didn't grow up.
Bumblebee is my favorite because I love that movie.
Only is a good choice. I think my typical choice is Optimus Prime. I just love I love that character. I just haven't really gotten to. I know that people have been recommending Transformers animated shows. I did watch for Patreon I think it was like 1986 Transformer film. I think so.
I only watched a Bumblebee movie. Like I don't because I didn't like the other ones. Didn't look fun to me. So, but I love the new Bumblebee one. There's supposed to be a sequel, they say, with Haley Steinfeld. You say, yeah, I mean, she might be too busy now for because she's doing them, Hawkeye and stuff like that. But it was good.
I asked Kevin Conroy on Twitter if he'd like to continue to voice Batman in the future, and he said whenever I asked, I jump. The opportunity to play Batman. Of course he should. He should always jump to the opportunity to play Batman. He's Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
He should. Ultra Magnus is one of the Optimus's most trusted commanders. I've actually never heard that. I don't. That name just doesn't sound familiar. Ultra Magnus.
Is he maybe like a newer Transformer that came like a few years ago?
Possibly. I know there's like a new Netflix series that was I think it's like a new Netflix series or maybe it's a couple different ones that's on Netflix that were made for Netflix. So maybe I don't know.
Oh yeah, I've never seen this one. I just googled it and I haven't seen
was
it.
the first Prime. Because Optimus is the most recent Prime. Yelling Young Justice. Oh God.
Hey, what did he say?
Oh, Young Justice. Have you been
do
reading?
Do we want to go? Sorry, go on.
Huh?
Oh, sorry, go on. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Have you been reading Dark Crisis? I have not. No. And wait, is that the sequel to Crisis on Infinite Earths?
Yeah, I don't understand why they're doing a Crisis sequel. But it's interesting. But yeah, I've seen some of the artwork. It looks great, but I'm just I'm behind on comics.
This is a good question. What shows do you want to watch that you haven't had a chance to see? So I'm guessing you mean a show that you've not seen one bit of. Oh, Jennifer, thank you so much. We'll get to that in a second. Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer.
I honestly don't know about a show that I haven't watched yet because I've seen at least a bit. I guess the Sandman because I've not actually seen anything of it yet. I don't even know. Don't even know what I don't. That's a good question. It's a really good question. I have no idea.
I know you said you had started watching Kung Fu, but then you fell behind.
I did watch the first episode of Kung Fu. I didn't continue. I don't know. There's not a show that I'm thinking right now that I need to start watching this that I haven't at least done some viewing of it yet. I don't know.
Yeah. For me, it's definitely things like Cobra Kai and Stranger Things, which is on my list. Because right now I'm going through The Boys and Shameless, and but those other two are on my list for sure. I keep going back and forth whether or not I want to get into Game of Thrones or not. Like because I'm just like, well, would I even have to this point to even watch the prequel? Like, I think I can just watch the prequel if I want to. Maybe that will get me to watch the original series. But it's one of those shows that I'm like, I do want to kind of get into it, but at the same time, do I have time for it? Because I know it is very, very long, and it's long. Even though like the season is short, every episode is very long. So,
I got one. Ozark from Netflix. I've never seen Ozark. I'm looking at my list. Ozark is one. There's a show on Netflix. I think it only has one season. It's never going to get another season. It's been 2 years. Luna Nera, I think it's how you pronounce it. It's a non-English show, but the fantasy of it, like I've seen like a trailer, looks so freaking cool. Yeah, I mean I have other stuff on my list, but I'm not like I need to see it now. It's just added as eventually. But yeah, Ozark for sure, definitely on there. Ozark, because I've heard that show is fantastic. I've just never seen it.
I've seen it. I've seen like this, like when you use something on Instagram Reels, like shows will come up from nowhere. And apparently, there was one time where it was a scene from Ozark where like a teacher, like a female student, had been like humiliated in class, and he was like, "Wait, what's happening?" It's because someone had sent something mean on their phone. Then he took all their phone and he threw it into like a garbage disposer. And I'm like, this is the kind of energy we need from teachers when it comes to smug ass teenage kids just bullying people around. So I haven't seen the show. I've seen that one scene, and that was pretty iconic.
Thank you, Jennifer, so much for the support. Thank you, Jennifer. Ultra Magnus was not the first Prime, and Ultra Magnus has been around since the original series. By the way, I fully recommend Transformers Prime for your Transformers show if you want to watch one. That's the best one. Okay, so he wasn't the first Prime, and he's been around for. Was he in the 1986 film, Jennifer? Was he in the 1986 animated film? Because I saw that years ago on Patreon, and the reaction I could edit it and upload it to YouTube, I guess, but. I just don't remember a lot of the names outside of a few characters. You know, that's the unfortunate part. Ultra Madness was also the original TV series movie that you watched. Okay, you already answered my question. Thank you, Jennifer. Transformers Prime animation, awesome for Transformers, but for the humans, it looks to me like, but it grows on you. Well, that's the thing about animation I've noticed is that certain animation style, it takes some use to you. I mean, literally, if you watch my video, Spectacular Spider-Man, I was against it because I saw pictures of the animation and like, this looks like shit. It looks like too kiddie. I watched the first episode, I was blown away by the Spectacular Spider-Man. Blown away by that show. So I'm so happy that I actually like watched it after you guys voted for it for a show for me to pick up, and I was blown away by that show. It's a for humans looks like meta. Oh, okay. Thank you. Do you have Titans on your list? No one should have Titans. I'm kidding.
You already been watching Titans, though, haven't you?
Huh?
Have you already been watching Titans?
I mean, I'm caught up. I mean, I watched Titans. I'm waiting for season 4.
Yeah, it's. I mean, Jordan made it sound like you like hadn't watched it all. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure.
I think you were just joking. I mean, I'm hoping that I'll get screeners for season 4, and like I got screeners for season 3. That'd be nice. Let's see. Question for Andy: what are your favorite series for quality LGBTQIA plus representation? You can answer both if you like, but yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would. I mean, something more. If we're talking about something more recent, I would say. I mean, Euphoria is. They do explore LGBTQ relationships. I mean, Zendaya's character Rue, she is definitely. She hasn't really like identified her sexuality, but like she is involved with another female character on the show, and I'm trying to because there's been so much that I watch. I think Runaways is also a good show for LGBTQ rap. We have Nico and Carolina, and once upon a time I would say Glee, but like that show has not aged well at all. But I would say that if you're looking for just if you can look past the nonsense that a lot of things that happens on Glee, and you want to look for like good queer relationships. You have Kurt and Blaine, you have Brittany and Zatanna. They're solid relationships that go through a long journey. I came out because of Kurt and Blaine. I never even started. I wasn't even watching Glee because I thought it was stupid. But one night during my senior in high school, I was supposed to do my homework and I did not. And then I turned on the TV and they were airing reruns of season 2 of Glee. And I remember exactly which scene it was. Kurt and Blaine were sitting in the coffee shop and just talking about things. And I'm like, fuck, I want that. And then I was thinking at the time I was closeted. So the next day I came out on Facebook, and it was crazy. I would say that I. Let me think a little bit more, and I will come back to you. So, because I want to, this is very important. Do you have any shows that you like that are like, oh, this is some good LGBTQIA rap?
I really don't have any that I can think of at the moment.
Doom Patrol is a good example too. I think I would say Doom Patrol. You can watch that.
I didn't get past episode 3 of season 1, so I have no idea.
Oh well, that's sad.
Yeah, mine is Jessica Jones for a show he wants to watch. Get on it. It's on Disney Plus right now.
Yeah.
Andy, how have you not watched Cobra Kai? How dare you?
Chainsaw says it to me too all the time too. I want to.
You gotta watch it. I doubt it would happen, but I hope that Superman and Lois could reference or hint that they existed in Batman's universe. I get it because there's been those fan edits and stuff and people putting them together, but the thing is, I'm telling you, Matt Reeves would not want this.
I would. It would. For people who keep saying that if Grant Gustin can't be the movie Flash because he's just a TV actor, or whatever, and so on, then there's no way in hell that they're gonna put Tyler Hoechlin Superman in that franchise. No matter and it's like even though these shows are popular, the Batman franchise, the new one has definitely probably a bigger reach than probably either shows.
Yeah.
So if anything, if I was them, I would say that Val Zod TV show that they're doing on HBO Max supposedly with Michael B. Jordan. I think it would be cool if he was the Superman of that universe. Maybe we can have a black Superman together with Battinson. That's a word. But
I mean, and whatever decision is made, Matt Reeves is going to have the decision on if there is a Superman or not on this earth. Jennifer, thank you so much once again for Transformers Prime. That first season is a little slow, but the third season, in my opinion, is the best Transformers of all time. In my opinion, there's also a 1-hour movie that ends to show after 3 seasons. No, is Transformer Prime? This is the Netflix series, right? And you don't have to super chat this to answer the question, but I believe this is the Netflix series that I was referring to. I think earlier. You don't have to super chat to answer, but thank you so much for supporting. But I do believe this is right. Would you consider Transformers Prime for the next Saturday or Sunday weekly show? Well, the Batman still has a ways to go. I literally just watched the season 2 finale of the Batman yesterday, and I watched the season 4 premiere of Ben 10 Perfect Day today. So there's still a little ways to go, and I feel like I'm not going to say this yet because I haven't officially announced yet, but Ben 10, there'll be more information on that next week regarding the future of Ben 10. But Saturday, once we get through 3 more seasons of the Batman, which is going to be into next year, possibly. We'll have to wait and see. Because here's the thing, people are asking for me to amp up my reaction uploads to Ben 10 and the Batman. And here's the thing, I will not have the time because Sunday we're getting House of the Dragon, then we have the She-Hulk, of course. Then we're going to get Andor next month. We're also going to be getting Lord of the Rings. It's just too much stuff I'm going to be covering. And thing is, if I start trying to do 2 uploads of these shows per week, it's getting them out faster, but it's also being drowned out by other content. Because it used to be on Saturdays and Sundays, I would have other content before I started to take on shows. Like I would just do something on a random Saturday. But now there is a dedicated video on Saturday and Sunday on the channel, regardless of anything else occurring. So I don't want it to be like to where Ben 10's going to start uploading, hypothetically, not happening, on Wednesdays and Sundays. But then there's a big day on Wednesday where a lot of stuff drops or other shows, and then Ben 10 gets drowned out and no one really notices the upload. That's something I don't want to run into. So
also remember, because he also has a full-time job, and he's also married, and he has a life to live too. So
yes, I have a lot of different stuff I have to deal with. So, and trust me, the amount of stuff I'm going to start be doing on the channel that are shows consistently, plus the Saturday and Sunday stuff, I'm going to be dead. So, just be thankful because trust me, I could easily not do this stuff because it's just ridiculous. But I'm here because I love doing what I'm doing.
It's great to hear all your suggestions. What he could do. Maybe next year he can do something like that. Once things are kind of like
calm down. Well, because the Flash is ending, so that's one less thing that will be coming to the channel consistently year after year. It's unfortunate. So there will be stuff coming on. That's the thing. Tell me, do you bleed?
Oh my god,
do you bleed? I do you bleed? This is off topic question, but have you heard or seen the Lost original version of Shrek movie? No. You talk about the one.
There was one.
With what's his name? Passed away. Chris Farley. He voiced Shrek before Mike Myers. Check your comment. Check your comment for what? Oh, but Netflix did its own Transformers. Yeah, that no. The way Transformers Prime on Netflix is weird. There are 3 seasons, but the only season 1 is on Netflix. Oh, okay. But Netflix did its own. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I know that Netflix did their own Transformers. I thought you were referring to the Netflix Transformers, so it's Transformers Prime, but I'm wrong. Saying it's the thing. I don't know. Let's let me look it up on Netflix.
I can look for the chat in the meantime if you wanted to. Let's see. Oh, here's a good question from Nathaniel. What is your least favorite animated Marvel and DC show? It's a very good question.
Yeah, Transformers Prime. There's only 1 season, but then there's Transformer Cyber War for Cybertron. Okay, that's what I was thinking of. Okay. Anyways, so now I understand there's a distinct there. I don't know my least favorite animated Marvel or DC because I
mean, one I can think of when it comes to Marvel is that Hulk show they did a couple years ago. Because I love Avengers vs. Mightiest Heroes. I know Jordan does too. Avengers Assemble is like, I thought they only did it because they wanted to make it look like the movie. So I'm like, that's a lame excuse. But the thing that I don't really watch a lot of Marvel anime shows anymore. The only one that I do is occasionally Spider-Man animated series, Inspector Spider-Man, and then I watch What If, and then soon I have to revisit X-Men the animated series. The at least favorite DC show, Batman: Brave and the Bold, for me.
Yeah, I've heard that isn't the best show for Batman Brave and the Bold, but then people say they love it.
It's tricky, isn't it?
There's a lot of people that hated not Ultimate. Well, people don't like Ultimate Spider-Man, but there's other people that the show after Ultimate Spider-Man, which I think is just called Marvel Spider-Man. People are saying that was not good.
It did not look good. It was very weird. It was a very weird animation style. But I was like, well, why don't you just keep doing
Hulk and the Agents of Smash?
There you go. Thank you so much. Like, you could have just continued doing Ultimate Spider-Man, because that was like that was my guilty pleasure show. Like, I hated it, but I also wanted to watch it because they had some fun. Like when they did the Spider-Verse stuff, I'm like, oh fuck it, because they had Donald Glover play Miles, and I was like, that's so cool.
I don't know why TV would have the other 2 seasons when Netflix only has the 1. That doesn't make sense to me. Jordan, I'm actually going to surprise you with this answer. Would you rather lose Superman and Lois or Cobra Kai? I'd rather lose Superman and Lois. I love Cobra Kai a lot. I love that show. I would be fine losing Superman and Lois over Cobra Kai, because Cobra Kai has done so much to continue on the Miyagi verse, if you will, as they call it.
Is season 5 the last season?
Not confirmed. I wouldn't be surprised if it is based off of the trailer, but they have not confirmed it. And I wouldn't be surprised if they announced season 6, which is not announced yet. I wouldn't be surprised if they announced that as the final season, just because, like, watching the trailer and knowing the story they're covering for season 5, I don't know where you go after this.
I wonder, could because again, I haven't seen, like, maybe you can answer, but could they, because it's called Cobra Kai, like, I mean, couldn't that follow maybe like a next generation of kids or something like that? Or is it like, how integral is Zolo's character? Because I know he's like the main.
We're following a huge variety of characters right now, and we're being introduced to even more characters in season 5. Obviously, there's a possibility, because there's been discussions of doing spin-off shows based off this Cobra Kai, so it's possible that we would get some other stories within this world out of a different show connected to Cobra Kai. I just don't know how long this show could go, because they shot season 4 and 5 pretty close together. And season 6 is not confirmed, so we know that they're not working on it. So they're probably going to maybe announce season 6, because I believe season 5 was announced like right after season 4, but they had already started shooting it or something, or they were already in production. So I think they might announce season 6 and maybe announce it being the final season, because their showrunners have been asked quite a bit, and they've always said 5 or 6 seasons is roughly where we think we could end it. So I think they would announce if it was the final season to kind of hype it up even more, that this is the final story. You guys got to get it on this now as soon as it drops. I don't know. Oh, Tribute to the Silver Age, Batman Brave the Bold. I mean, yeah, that's the thing, and that's fine. If there's just people that obviously just don't that are not fans of that, or just didn't like what they did with the show. Because I heard that it's more of a comedic approach.
Very comedic. And you have to remember, me and Jordan, we're from the 90s, and that was like,
Yeah.
when we were growing up, that wasn't the tone that we were used to grow up to, because we had Batman the animated series, we had Superman the animated series, and Spider-Man and X-Men and so on, which wasn't like really like goofy or cartoony. It was more so like, a little bit of both, where like you can watch it no matter what age you are. And, so yeah, but maybe if the Silver Age is something that, Gen Zs or millennials have now. I guess we would be millennials. We're old, but like, yeah, I guess that's something they would connect to as opposed to us.
This is a hard question, Anthony. I cannot answer for you. I can't answer, but I will say though, Batman introduced us to freaking Jim Gordon in that season 2 finale. That was awesome, so good. I loved it, and the freaking bat signal. Ugh. And mentioning Barbara, not by name though, but saying, I want this city to be, safe for my daughter to grow up in. And then Bruce is like, for your daughter, then like, well, we're gonna protect the city for your daughter. I'm like, I loved it. I love how he just walked in and just took control of shit. That was so cool. Love that.
Did you ever watch Beware the Batman?
I've seen a little bit of it. I have a long time ago, but I hear it's good.
I hear it's into the CGI.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. The CGI is definitely off-putting.
That's why I didn't watch Green Animated series, because I was like,
it's the same style. Yeah, people tell me I need to watch that. So there's so much stuff. Brave and the Bold is the same as the comics, where he teams up with other heroes every episode. There is even an episode with the 90s Flash show actor forgot his name, voice Reverse Flash. Oh, John Wesley Shipp?
Yeah, he was Reverse Flash. Yeah, he's been everywhere. He's played Henry Allen, he's played Barry Allen, he's played Jay Garrick, he's played Eobard Thawne. That man is like, he's gonna be Wally West next, and then he's gonna play Bar Allen, and he's gonna play I mean, he will find a way to play Jesse Quick, for God's sake, I'm sure.
Stop the nonsense, Jordan. They're not gonna add Goldface to Ben 10. Just imagine he shows
that actor though is good. He is a good voice actor, so maybe he will voice a character on Ben 10.
He'll voice Goldface.
Yeah, there you go.
His voice an alien that looks like Goldface.
Will you be watching Sweet Tooth season 2?
I've not seen the show.
Me neither.
I've heard it's good. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I know it's like a smaller DC property, but it looks cute and fun though. What is your favorite Marvel Netflix series? Mine is terrible. It's terrible for me too.
Daredevil. Punisher was good. But Daredevil.
Daddy likes a 10.
Woo! Thank you, Jon Snow. Hogwarts Legacy's dropping a trailer next Tuesday. Thank you.
Ooh, thank God.
I like being notified of trailer drops. I hate it when they come out of nowhere. Thank you. I'll try to remember that. I'll probably forget. But still, exciting. Wait, so Johnson, do we know if this is like a gameplay trailer or if this is just like an announcement? Like, even though they have announced it being delayed, that this is like, oh, guys, we're pushing it back.
I can go check.
But here's a trailer. Woohoo!
Let's see.
I think we're gonna go for a few more minutes, guys. We're gonna call it.
They tweeted on the 17th. Some students don't always heed every warning. Don't miss Gamescom opening night live next Tuesday, August 23rd at 8 p.m. Central Eastern Time / 7 p.m. BST / 2 p.m. Eastern / 11 a.m. Pacific.
Thank God. 2 p.m.
Yes, sorry, I did not mean to say. I should not have said all those times, so that was very confusing. But
No, because once you said 2 p.m. EST, like, thank God. That means you're getting the trailer in the day, not in the evening. Thank you. That's frustrating as hell. Favorite comic runs. Okay. Well, I mean, it's hard to say because, like, when I think of comic runs, like, I'm thinking about like omnibuses or graphic novels that collect all of them together. So I guess that's what you're kind of asking. I mean, Batgirl New 52 was great. I think you're fair to say any Batman run for the most part in the New 52 era, any of those runs were pretty solid.
There's a lot of good arcs there.
Yeah, and then and of course other stuff as well in the New 52 stuff. And I think some of the Rebirth stuff has been good too. I think I liked Flash's Rebirth, and the Titans Rebirth stuff was pretty good from what I read.
Green Arrow, that was a great reintroduction, because they got Oliver and Laurel together because there's no fucking Felicity in those comics. Diggle is there though. Diggle is there plenty enough though. I love the early volumes of Brian Michael Bendis' Ultimate Spider-Man. I love a lot of the Flash runs by Mark Waid. I love he's a graphic novel again, but I love the whole trilogy of Superman Earth 1 by J. Michael Straczynski. That was my first graphic novel I ever bought when I was like 17. I also love Green Area 1 by Anna Diggle. Not to be confused by John Diggle's backstabbing brother, but they were offer Annie Diggle. Longbow Hunters is there also a really good comic run. I also, in the Archieverse, like the Mark Waid, when he rebooted the Archie universe, those first couple ones are really, really fun too. It's not Riverdale at all. I need to put a disclaimer: it is nothing like Riverdale. But that's a great question. Oh, another super from Jennifer. Jordan, have you been reading Dark Crisis, the new cosmic event from this year?
Have not. No, I will eventually get to it, but unfortunately not right now. She also has another super chat. This is a really hard question. Pick one game to get canceled: Miles Morales or Arkham City. Whatever one you pick, you still get Arkham Asylum or Spider-Man PS4. Cause see, Arkham City was the best out of the trilogy from Rocksteady. That's difficult.
I mean, I think, you know what, honestly, I think I'd rather have canceled Miles Morales, and I know this could probably be a little shocking, but here's the thing. Because I don't think Miles Morales and the Spider-Man PS4 game would have ever happened if it hadn't been for the success of the Arkham games, because I think that was really the major superhero game IP that really started to remind these studios that, oh shit, superheroes could do really well in video games.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if when Injustice didn't come before Arkham Asylum, it came after.
The game?
Yeah.
I think it came after. I think.
Yeah. So I think Arkham Asylum really set the precedent for a lot of things going forward. So there you go. But that's a good question. And thank you for the super chat, Jennifer. I got a super from Jennifer. Thank you so much. Jordan, have you seen the Injustice movie? And did you like it, Jordan?
I reviewed it for the channel. It wasn't great. You can go watch the review, but yeah. Jordan Kent here says, do you think we'll see Spider-Man 2 trailer? So yeah, we had that first look of Spider-Man 2 last year. Was it last year? Or was it earlier this year? I can't remember when that was. But I guess it depends on how far out it is. I don't even know. We don't even have a release window, I don't think.
I can look it up. Is another game event coming this year?
I don't know. E3, I think E3 was earlier. Or maybe there wasn't an E3 this year. I mean, there could be something. Favorite voice of Darkseid? Michael Ironside from the Justice League animated series and Superman the animated series too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so hard for me because there's been so many great ones. I mean, Michael Ironside and Ray Porter, definitely two of my favorites. But after that, I don't know. Marvel Spider-Man 2 swings into PS5 in 2023, says Marvel.com.
Oh, well then, it's just possible to get a trailer, possibly. I can't see Titans going past season 4. I can't either, but we'll see.
I think Doom Patrol and Titan, if anything, will get a short and final top 5th seed. Or at least, you know what? Here's the thing, because I know you don't want Doom Patrol, so I will say this to the listeners, the viewers. the way this Doom Patrol season 3 ends, it feels like they're definitely like, they know their end destination for these characters, and I think that Doom Patrol could be the one, because that show also has such massive actors involved that I wouldn't be surprised if season 4 might end up being the last one. I think Titans, if anything, I think they would do at least like one shorter final season, because that show is distributed through Netflix internationally, so that is a massive like revenue for Warner Brothers. So, but I do agree. I do think Titans is closer to the end than it's being. I don't think it's going to get 9 seasons like The Flash, for example. But I think one more. I think one more, and then I think they will likely move on or do maybe spin-offs, because that's they have a lot of characters you can do.
I read one of the dumbest reviews here for House of the Dragon saying there are too many Targaryens.
That's weird.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because if you watch any of the marketing, you know there are a lot of Targaryens, or at least just a couple. Like, it's all about the Targaryens. And there's other characters outside of the Targaryens that are in the show, but like, you're following the Targaryens.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jennifer, for Super Chat once again. Consider editing some more Patreon movies for YouTube. I mean, I have considered it because there is a good amount that are just kind of sitting, but I got to worry about other stuff too. So, because I mean, editing a film, I think will be easier now because my software has updated, so it's a little bit easier to kind of edit on stuff. But I also got to think too of like, other content I'm doing for the channel, and also not constantly sitting at this computer. But Transformers, I mean, I think, that definitely would be one of them, because there's some movies I've reacted to for Patreon that I don't think would do well on as a YouTube upload, but there are definitely others like Transformers. I think The Crow would probably do well. I reacted to the Hangover comedy film that everyone talks about. There's a couple of DC animated movies, but I don't know, because I reacted to Batman Hush, and that didn't really do well when I uploaded to YouTube. But then again, it was so much later. So yeah. Did you watch 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle animated show? Nope.
I did. It was fun. I didn't stick throughout the whole run, but I did watch it. I vaguely remember. There's been so many Turtles reboots now and so on. But it's a good one.
Thank you for Super Chat, Jennifer. We're winding it down, guys. When will you get your reaction to the final Super Bowl showdown from Two Sandwich? No one's gonna. So there's this channel called Toon Sandwich, and they do, they're called Art Sphere Entertainment, and they did this like trilogy of and they do like these animated like spoof trailer things, and they did a trilogy called the Super Bowl Showdown or something. There was like these different like Hero Bowl, Villain Bowl, like all these different heroes from all the different franchises and all villains from all different franchises fighting each other. And there's like this final big showdown thing. And I never reacted to that one. I reacted to the other two a long time ago. No one's going to care when I upload if I do react to that final one. And it's such a long video. It's not going to be worth my time, unfortunately. Because I have to think about my time in terms of content. Like, I think that video is like 30-40 minutes, and if I'm sitting there for that long, I might as well do an episode reaction of something that people are actually going to pay attention to. Like, if I upload that video, it's probably not going to get 500 views, and I know views don't really matter, but I also have to think about this too. I'm putting my time into my content and my channel, and that video might have done well back when it released, but that's been years ago, and you're the only person who's ever asked that question that I know of. But I thank you for asking, and maybe like one day down the road, if I'm ever streaming, I might watch it on stream or something, whatever. There's always a possibility of something like that, but at this point, my focus is on the content I'm making in terms of TV shows, and plus all the trailers. And then, as you guys probably noticed on my channel, I did some music reactions, Metallica, Bandmade, Baby Metal. Like, I did some stuff this week in terms of music, which I haven't done in a while. So I'm trying to switch it up. So maybe one day, Jennifer. Maybe one day. Maybe. Triple X. Oh, God. Season 4 is so great. Why I have to remember season 4? Because I don't remember.
Oh, my God.
Thank you for the turn there, Triple. Thank you. I was like, what are you talking about? I think we'll see Jessica Jones. There's possibility of seeing John Bernthal as Punisher. I think it's possible.
I think both of them are definitely on the tape. I think Mike It's my
Coulter.
Yeah. And those are the only defenders. And then Colleen Wing, of course, and Misty. We can't forget about them. And there's no one else really forgetting. So we are just gonna move on. There's no one else.
No one. Okay. I think we're going to wrap it up. It's been it's getting close to 11, guys. It's been kind of a hectic show here. We've had, of course, four of our topics: She-Hulk, Wednesday trailer, the Wednesday Addams show. We had a big discussion about the Madam Web thing, and what was the other topic?
Superman Lois.
Superman Lois. I can't believe I was blanking on that. But yes,
and She-Hulk.
I think I said She-Hulk first. I don't remember.
Oh, sorry,
it's been one of those days. Are you streaming tomorrow on Twitch?
Maybe if I do, I will let everyone know on Twitter because I'm probably gonna be studying this weekend. So, but if I don't do it tomorrow, likely on Sunday because I do want to try and get in some streamings every week now. But it was a miracle I could even make tonight's show. With getting sick and just my apartment is a mess. But yeah,
glad you're here.
Well, I'm glad to be here too, and I hope everyone's staying safe out there and having a good Friday. This week, this August has been. Even if we don't always cover everything, we are aware that this has been a shitty month. Not any of us blind to that. We know it's been a shitty month for a lot of time, but we want to have a fun show for you guys. These last 2 weeks, it's been a lot of sighs, whatever, fuck everything. Daddy Zaslav with the axe, with the axe. Again, I don't know.
I was about to go to that image. The axe of Zaslav's coming for you.
I need to know what photo, why he did that pose and what he's pointing at. Is it from
pointing at your soul?
There you go. Well, I don't have a soul, so. But next week we'll be back for episode 27.
Yes, and thank you guys so much for being here, for supporting and being in the chat, and of course everyone who super chatted tonight. Thank you so much for supporting the channel in that way, and thank you so much for supporting the stream and being here each Friday with us, guys. And it's been crazy.
Catch this guy on the socials. Find his content on.
All in the description is all of our social medias. Follow us. Follow us on our platform. Keep up with what's going on, and make sure that you guys are always tuning in when we make our live stream. Live, we get it all set up so you guys are prepared and ready for each show, so you know what topics we're covering and all that, because of course the thumbnail gives away some of it, so make sure you're always.
I'm so sorry. Well, saying hi to you, Aiden.
Sorry.
Thank you for still showing up. I may have something fun to share on Twitter next week. I don't want to jinx it yet, so people keep your eyes and ears and phones open.
Yes. Well, guys, as you know, that time of the evening where we have to say goodbye. And I know some of you, when we're saying goodbye, some of you get like this. Fuck! What the fuck? God damn it! Because I know you guys don't want us to leave. We apologize. It's going to be okay. We're all going to be here for you next week. It's going to be fine. So as you guys, someone already commented saying it's Gracie time. It is Gracie time. Anything else, Andy? Are we good?
Captain America fucked.
There you go. Captain America fucked. Cicada, take it away.
Metas killed your parents, Gracie. They all deserve to die.
Don't believe him, Grace.
Don't believe him, Grace. Never believe him. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
I'm letting you win this time. It's bye. With my throat.